AITA for refusing to punish my daughter after she blew up on the class clown that she didn't want her birthday party. My daughter is 13 and she goes to a small school. Her grade only has 18 students. My daughter also has other friends from the sports she does. We plan to have her go to a much larger high school in the future. Her 13th birthday party was last weekend, and I asked who she wanted to invite. She wanted to invite 7 of the girls from her class and 5 from her soccer team. The one girl she doesn't want to invite is named Kelly. My daughter doesn't like Kelly. She's the class clown in her grade, and my daughter hides her annoying and attention-seeking. I asked her why she didn't want her there, and her response was, "She ruins school for me all the time. I don't want her to ruin my birthday." I agreed with her list and sent the invites out. My ex-wife is invited to all her major milestones instead of us doing separate events. I learned an hour before the party my ex-wife sent an invite to Kelly since her mom found out about the party. My daughter was not happy to see her. I told her to enjoy the party. It was going well until the cake came out. My daughter wanted a glitter cake. While everyone was around the cake, Kelly took her fingers and swiped icing off the top layer of the cake. It ruined the cake, and my daughter lost it. She yelled at Kelly, basically saying, "What is wrong with you? This is why I didn't want you her, and that you ruined everything." She ran to her room after, and Kelly was crying. Kelly's parent is wanting an apology. My ex-wife wants her to apologize as well. I am refusing to make her do that or punish her at all. I pointed out that my ex never should have invited her, and to the mom that her child ruined the cake, and that at 12 years old should know better. They're calling me an ass, and my daughter is just upset.
AITA for enforcing basic boundaries on my daughter's sleepover. I, 42M, have 2 kids living with me, my daughter Anya and my stepson Noah. Noah's mom passed a few years ago, and I've had full custody since. He's had a rough go of it, but he's a good kid, with his quirks. He's not antisocial or shy, but he does not appreciate having his space invaded, and when very upset, he can kinda shut down. Anya is much more outgoing and has a lot of friends. She asked to have a sleepover this weekend with 4 of them. I said yes, of course, but given that the friends who were coming were pretty loud and have a tendency to crowd Noah, I told her to make sure they don't go into her brother's room. Also to keep things down after 11, so that the house can sleep. In my opinion, these are not strict rules. To my surprise, I came upstairs to check on them at about 10. They are 17. I didn't think I needed to check on them every hour or something, and they were in Noah's room. And they looked like they'd been there a while. 2 were literally sitting on his bed, with him there. One of them was flipping through his sketchbook, another was messing with his other stuff. And they were all kind of giggling in this weird way. Noah was clearly upset. He didn't say anything move, but there were tears in his eyes, and he didn't respond when I tried to talk to him. I told the girls to get out right then, and that I was calling every single one of their parents. Anya was pretty upset with me, but I told her that I gave them 2 rules and they failed spectacularly. I did actually call all of their parents, and sent them home as soon as possible. Anya blew up, saying I embarrassed her. I told her to go to her room, and that we would speak on this in the morning. I spent about 20 minutes with Noah, before he decided he wanted to cool down on his own, and I went back to my daughter, who chose not to speak to me. It's late, both of my kids are asleep, and I'm left not knowing if I handled things right. AITA?
For asking my neighbour to move their little farm stand because people are stealing from my garden. Before anyone says just build a fence, can't afford it right now. And no HOA. My neighbour set up one of those pantries where people can take stuff they grew or donated, which in theory is a great idea, especially when life in America sucks ass and people are struggling, my family included. The problem? People started coming into my yard to pick things in my garden. I've put up signs saying not to do it. I installed rabbit fence around the garden and even angled a tarp so you can't see it from the road. People just hold their kids over the fence to pick my tomatoes and beans, or they jump it. I ended up getting into it with this lady, yelling, "Hey, stop! Those are not for you." She tells her kid to move faster and tries to run. I catch up like, "What the fuck is your problem?" And she goes, "How dare you swear in front of my child?" Like, girl, you're stealing from me. Next day, I go to my neighbour and ask if we can move the stand to the other side of their driveway away from my garden. They said not until the end of the season. I asked if they could make bigger signs or do something. They're like, can't you afford to share? I said, they're not taking my zucchini because they're starving. They're taking my tomatoes because they want them. They hit me with, "You're going to have to live with it. We'll talk about it later for the community." And I said, I don't care about the community. I care about people stealing from me. Last night, it happened again. Some dude in his 50s hops in, so I sprayed his ass with the hose. He's yelling, and then the neighbour comes out yelling at me too. Now, people are posting on the neighbourhood board saying I'm an asshole, scaring people away from a community resource. I told my neighbour I'm going to keep spraying people until he does something about these thieves. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Am I the asshole for asking them to move it? Am I the asshole for being pissed that people are stealing from me? This is food for my family.
AITA for taking unnecessary money out of my daughter's pocket? Basically, I have a daughter, Emily, 16F, from a previous marriage. My wife, Sasha, has a son the same age, Mark, 16M. Mark doesn't stay with us that often. He prefers to stay with his bio dad. That being said, when he is here, I find Mark to be a pretty good kid, polite and respectful. His dad decided to take a trip for work in the last few weeks of school, so Mark's here for a bit. He's out of the house most of the time and doesn't take up much space. He does get kind of grumpy when there's too much going on around him, especially noise. But for that, his favorite thing are these expensive noise-canceling headphones, which he almost always has with him, a present from his dad. Emily's school is already finished, so she's home. The problem is that the room Mark is in sometimes has miscellaneous items put in when he's not here, and therefore Emily seems to think it's fair game to go through his stuff. I've told her to stop, but Sasha hasn't been taking it seriously, in my opinion, saying that most of Mark's stuff is easy to replace. The big problem happened when Mark accidentally left his headphones in his room, and Emily accidentally snapped them. Mark found out when he came home from school and flipped. He shouted at her, saying she was spoiled without anything to back it up, loud enough that my wife and I heard it from the other room. Sasha wanted me to calm things down, which I did, but I also told Emily she's replacing them. Thing is, Mark's dad offered to have someone get him a new pair immediately, and that it wasn't a problem. I said Emily would pay him back, and I'm sticking with it. Emily and Sasha think that's unfair, since Mark's dad can afford to buy 10 more. But I don't think you get to break someone's stuff and not pay for it. Those aren't the values I was raised with or what I want for my daughter. That being said, I do realize in this case it's kind of unnecessary, and there may be better ways for her to make it up to him. AITA?